So it has been over a year now, actually. It was last month. It has been over a year since I actually started playing the Pokemon TCG. It hasn't been a year since I made this channel. I made this channel in December? I don't remember. I think it was November, December I made this channel. Or it might have been January, around one of those times. But I switched over to the Pokemon TCG back in September 2023. And I just want to talk about the game. I want to talk about, trading card games, Pokemon in general, what I like about the game, what I dislike about the game, why I swapped to begin with, my history with Pokemon, because this isn't the first time I've played the Pokemon TCG. I have played before in the past, but not for long. So this is just going to be a little sit-down type of chat and discussion video. I'll also show you my collection of stuff near the end of the video. I don't really have a lot in terms of card collection. I obviously do own some games, some toys and stuff like that, but if you want to skip to that, then feel free to skip to the end of the video. But for now, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk. So the main thing is, why did I swap over to Pokemon? The reason why I say swapped is because, as I've said in plenty of other videos before, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in 2018 all the way up until 2023. I have taken breaks from the game here and there because of a certain virus, or the format was just really bad and I wasn't enjoying playing the game, and then I've come back and then quit again. But in September of 2023, I decided, right, I am no longer playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. I am swapping to a different card game because Konami does not care about their player base. That's one of the reasons why I swapped, is that Konami as a company do not give, I was about to swear then, they do not care about their player base in the slightest. They literally do not care. Yu-Gi-Oh! Players have been complaining about the game for years, and Konami literally doesn't do anything about it. They don't care. All they care about is money, and that's a fact. That's not an opinion, that is a straight fact. There is no incentive to playing Yu-Gi-Oh! You go to a Pokemon regional, and if you top, you get cash, you get money, and you also get a mat and some packs. Over in Yu-Gi-Oh!, if you top an event, you get a mat. That's it. You get a mat, maybe some packs, and maybe a prize card that's worth $500. That's if you can sell it.
I made top cut at Euros, and all I have to show for it is this mat.
It's a lot of people are like, oh, the pricing for Yu-Gi-Oh! Is so good, you get this card and this playmat that are worth 10 grand. No one's gonna buy that. No one is going to buy this playmat, this literal rubber mouse mat for $1,000. No one's going to buy that. Whereas in other card games like Pokemon, you actually get money. You get cash money, dollar bills. Whereas in Yu-Gi-Oh! You just get nothing. I forgot her name now. Jess, I think her name is? Sunseed Jess, I think her name is. She went to the World Championships last year, not this year. And I think she got top 8 or something like that. And she won nothing. She went away empty-handed. She went to the highest level of competitiveness. She went to the highest tier event in the game, the World Championship. Got top 8 and walked out of the venue with nothing.
I topped the World Championships last year. I made top 8 and then I lost first round of top 8. I walked out empty-handed. I made it to the highest level. If you can make it to the highest level of the game and then top the event at the highest level of the game and walk out empty-handed, it does leave a bit of a sour taste about how the company cares about their players.
It's just an absolute insult to the player base, is Konami. It's absolutely disgusting. Other reasons why I quit Yu-Gi-Oh! It's expensive. Everyone knows it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is one of, if not the most expensive card game, next to Magic the Gathering. It is ridiculous. And it's all because of Konami, because in the OCG, which is the Japanese version of the game, it's dirt cheap because they print the cards in multiple rarities. So over here we have SP Little Knight, which is only in secret rare, and it's 60 quid, whereas over in Japan it's printed in super rare, ultra rare, secret rare. It has 5 different versions, so you could bling out with the maximum rare rate, or you could just get the super rare. Why doesn't Konami do that? Because money. And I've also quit Yu-Gi-Oh! Because bad format. You know, the game constantly has awful formats. Like, for the past year, Snake Eye has been the best deck, and then this ban list, they did absolutely nothing to the deck, and it's still one of the best decks. It's like another instance of Konami just doesn't care about the player base. So that's like the main reasons why I swapped. I have played other card games in the past. I didn't really compete in them like competitively. I've played a Digimon in the past. I still play Digimon, but I mainly play it casually. I've played Cardfight Vanguard. I haven't played anything like One Piece or Magic the Gathering. I know how to play Magic the Gathering, but I've never actually played it myself. Yeah, I've no experience with One Piece or Lorcana or, I guess, Flesh and Blood. That's another one. I've never played any of those. I've mainly played Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, and a little bit of Cardfight Vanguard. I did used to own Pokemon cards back in the day, like way back in the day in, you know, a box where they would get tossed around and thrown around. But I didn't actually play the TCG, I mainly just had them in a box because I was a child and liked opening packs. But during the black and white era format, I think it was around like the Plasma era of black and white. It was around when Black and White 2 came out. I played a little bit of the TCG then, and then I stopped because I had school, and school was a lot more important than a trading card game. But I did eventually like come back to the game because I quit Yu-Gi-Oh! For a bit because the format was really bad, so I was like, oh, I'll play Pokemon instead. And I played near the end of the Sun and Moon format, which was probably one of the worst eras in Pokemon TCG from what I've heard, and then I quit that a couple of weeks or months later because of COVID. In terms of my history with Pokemon, I've been playing like the Pokemon games ever since I was like old enough to speak. Pokemon has been like a part of my life throughout like my entire time of being alive. I'm 25 by the way, and I'd say like a good 20 years of my life has been like owned by Pokemon. I've played pretty much every game. I've owned almost every game. I've owned like Blue, Sapphire and Emerald, I got Pearl, Platinum, got White 2, X, Alpha Sapphire. I skipped Gen 7, Sun and Moon. I didn't really like the direction the game was going with like the removal of gyms and stuff like that. I got Sword and Scarlet, probably one of the worst generations. But I mainly like to play the older games, like especially the DS era of games. Gen 5 is my favourite generation. I own all the games in Japanese, and I've played through them all in Japanese. I would like English copies, but they are very expensive. I also own the Gen 4 games in Japanese. I also own an English Platinum. Like, the DS era of Pokemon is my favourite era of Pokemon. I didn't play the video games competitively. I mainly just played them, you know, casually. I would play through it, do some stuff, maybe some post-game stuff, maybe try and complete the Pokedex, engage in like legendary stuff, and then once I was pretty much done with everything on the file, I would like transfer it all up or like trade it all over and then restart the game. That's basically how I played the Pokemon games. But going back to the Pokemon TCG, what is like the things that I like about the game? First off, it's cheap. The Pokemon TCG is probably one of, if not the cheapest trading card game there is. There are like a couple of cards here and there that are going to be expensive, like, you know, Prime Catcher is £15. You've got stuff like Iron Hands EX is kind of expensive. You've also got like some random common and uncommon cards that are expensive, like Earthen Vessel and stuff like that. But a majority of the cards in the format and the cards in the game are cheap. You can build a competitive deck for like 50, 60-ish pounds, compared to Yu-Gi-Oh! Where a singular copy of a card would cost that much and you need 3 copies of it. And plus Pokemon release like these Battle League decks, which is like a complete competitive deck. They've done it before with Palkia, you know, Mew, I think there's a Miraidon one, and they're going to be printing one next month for Charizard, and it comes with Prime Catcher, and it's going to be £30 for the product. Why doesn't other card games do that? That's so good, because it comes with like 3 Charizard EXs, 2 Pidgeots, it comes with Prime Catcher. Like, you basically just get a full Charizard deck for £30 and more. Like, really good. Another thing I like is the variety of decks you can play, and the fact that old decks can become strong again. For example, as we've seen with, something like Regidrago. Regidrago was this like nothing deck a year or two ago, and now it's one of the best decks in the format. Palkia used to be the best deck in the format when it released, but then it like slowly started going out, and now it's come back up again. Same with Lugia. Lugia kind of fluctuates from being really good to mid to like really good to mid to really good, compared to, other card games like Yu-Gi-Oh, which have a ban list. So, you have the best deck, and then Konami bans it, and then they reprint another best deck, and then everybody plays that, then they ban it, and they print another best deck, everyone plays that, then they ban it. Another thing is that the cards are easy to understand. They're very simple text. It's like, search your deck for this. This attack does this. This attack does this. The cards are very simple, very easy to understand because they don't have a massive wall of text with like a million effects. With that, the game is also simple and easy to play compared to, other card games, again, Yu-Gi-Oh, which is like very complicated. Turns can take upwards to like 15-20 minutes. Whereas in Pokemon, it's just activate a few cards, maybe attach some energies, do some other stuff, and attack. And take prizes, and you do it again and again and again. Very simple, like repeatable sort of gameplay loop. Another thing I also like is that the game is appealing to not only players but collectors, because the game has, alternate arts, full arts, secret arts, illustration rares, that kind of thing. So while, to a player it's like, oh, this card's really good, to a collector it's like, oh, this card is also like really good. Like, for example, you have all the illustration rares, secret illustration rares that are like very expensive, like the Greninja secret illustration rare, and that's like £200 now, which is ridiculous. And then you obviously have like the players who can use those cards to bling out their decks. They could play, max rarity, they could play full art supporters of everything, they could play gold rare item cards, while at the same time the collectors will want those cards for a collection. Another thing I also like is that the game runs on a rotation system instead of a ban list. Obviously, stuff like Digimon, One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh! I think Magic also has a ban list, where basically they just take some of the best cards and just get rid of them or like limit them, and then we get the next set and then the next set, and then they'll like ban or limit some cards. Whereas with Pokemon, we get a year's worth of sets, and then sets from like 2 years ago will no longer be legal to play, and we can only play from this year to this year. And then when we move over to the next year, the year before that one, well, not the year before that one, but like again the year from back then will go away. So for now we have like F, G and H, and then when we move to the next year it will be G, H, I think it's I, H, yeah, H, I, so we'll get G, H, I, and then after I we'll get J, so it'll be in H, I, J, and that kind of thing. And I like that rotation system better instead of a ban list, because with a ban list you could have like a new set release. In the case of like, this happens so many times in Yu-Gi-Oh! You have a new set release with like this really broken card that works incredibly well with a card that was printed like 20 years ago with like really broken text, and then Konami have to, ban that card. Which is, another problem that Yu-Gi-Oh! Suffers with, is that Konami will print a really broken card, and instead of banning the card, they'll ban the cards that, are abused by the card. Everyone knows about Needle Fiber. Needle Fiber came out. Instead of Konami banning Needle Fiber, they banned the tuners Needle Fiber was using, not Auroradon, O-Lion, Jet Synchron, all that kind of thing. They banned those, which is the cards that were being used by Needle Fiber, instead of banning Needle Fiber, so players just used different tuners, and then they eventually got rid of it. So those are all the things that I like about the game. Now the things that I don't really like about the game, TCG Live is a buggy, broken mess. Like, when it works, but a lot of the time it's just not good. Like, and if you want to play the Pokemon, if you want to play like Pokemon on your computer or on your phone, that's kind of like the only official way. There are other unofficial ways, but I'm not going to go into those. But yeah, TCG Live is not very good. It needs like a big update, because it's just a broken, buggy mess. Another thing I kind of don't like is the sign-up system to events, because very rarely do Pokemon themselves actually post when tickets go live. You have to follow like the organizers of the events that isn't Pokemon, meaning that you basically have to keep an eye on them to see when the tickets go live, because Pokemon aren't going to post when like this regional goes up or this regional goes up or this regional goes up. You have to find the tournament organizers and then, hope that they post about it, or you have to go on RK9 Labs, which is where you do all your sign up. You don't do it through Pokemon, you do it through a completely different site, which I am not really a fan of. the fact that you have to go through a completely different site just to sign up for events is kind of annoying, because Pokemon do have an event finder on their website. They have an event finder, but you can't sign up through the event, because when you click on like the sign up thing, it takes you completely somewhere else. That's if the organizers of the event have put up like a sign-in kind of thing. But yeah, that's one thing I don't like about the thing, that you have to go through other like websites and other accounts, and you have to like follow other people and keep up to date with them to know when tickets go up or where events are going to be at, because Pokemon don't post about it. They'll only post when the bigger events go up, like the international championships. They will post when those go up. It's pretty much the only one that they do. Some card design to an extent. I think some card design is not very good, or like pretty annoying, pretty frustrating to deal with, but like that's just a me thing really. If like everyone has the complaints about certain cards and all that kind of thing, so it's to be expected with a card game. Everyone hates a card, everyone loves a card, but there's some people who might hate the card that you love, all that kind of thing. It's just a standard type of thing. It's just a player thing more than anything. And another thing that I kind of am a little bit iffy on is the community and the players of the game. You can sometimes get people who are, you know, really nice. They love to have like a chat. They're really like invested into the game, but they're not like hardcore, super competitive. I only care about winning, which is the type of people that I don't like. The people who only care about winning and, you know, literally play the game just to try and win and earn money instead of actually trying to enjoy the game. Because I have encountered a few people like that, especially some YouTube content creators. I've seen some that are just like, they watch feature matches and just constantly like critique every single thing that goes on. It's like, who cares? People make misplays, like people don't play the way you want them to play because maybe they see a different line, or maybe they want to do things a bit differently. People play the game differently. People like perceive the game state differently. You don't need to like put your nose in and constantly critique people because they didn't play how you expected them to or how you wanted them to. I also don't like when people backseat. That's another thing. If I'm trying to do something and someone's like, oh, you should do this, you should do this, you should grab this, you should grab this, it's like, shut up. Like, legitimately shut up. Go away and let me play the game. But yeah, that is kind of everything I want to talk about in this video. Yeah, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Well, actually, the next section of this video is probably going to be me showing off my collection of Pokemon stuff. Collection, quote unquote. So, yeah, please enjoy that. And if you don't really want to watch that, then I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know some stuff. When did you start playing Pokemon? Do you still play Pokemon? Are you a collector? Are you a player? What made you want to start playing? All that kind of stuff. How long have you been playing? Let me know in the comments, and I shall see you all in the next video, whatever that may be. Take care. Hello, this is the collection section of the video, and this is the third time I'm recording this, because the first time I messed up, and then the second time the lighting changed halfway through it, so everything was really dark. I've pulled out everything I have that is Pokemon related, but also trading card game related. So we have obviously card stuff, we have video games, we have all the stuff like that, we have plushies and everything like that. There are things in here that aren't Pokemon related, but they are still trading card game related, so it kind of fits in. We'll start off with my deck box that I use for my Dragapult deck, all nicely sleeved in purple sleeves. Also we have this little box here, which has all of my dice and counters inside. This is the deck box that I used to use. I got this while I was in Japan. It's a Sliverwing and Iron Moth deck box, but now it's just used for storage. It's got some sleeves and random Digimon cards inside of it. This is my Yu-Gi-Oh deck box. It has my Yu-Gi-Oh deck inside of it and a detachable dice compartment, which is pretty cool, even though I still rarely ever touch this game anymore. And then we have this big thing here, Tellurian Community College deck box, which is mainly a storage thing. It's got, I think, a Digimon deck and a Cardfight Vanguard deck inside of it, but it's mainly a storage thing. There's also these, the Pokemon Center International Championship sleeves and the Competitor International Championship deck box. that you got for competing. Moving on to playmats. I don't know how this is going to look on camera, but we have the Pixel, Gen 1 Pixel Art Pokemon playmat. Next up we have the Pokemon Center International Championship playmat with Armor Rouge and Celoredge. And then we have the main playmat that I use for locals and other events, the European International Championship Competitor playmat. Other playmats I have, this is my Yu-Gi-Oh! One. It is a Master Duel World Championship 2023 mat. I didn't attend the World Championships, I actually won this in a Twitter giveaway. We have another Yu-Gi-Oh! Playmat with Summon Sorceress from Zero Damage Gaming. And then we have a Digimon playmat featuring my favourite Digimon, Jesmon, and all of the pre-Digi evolutions. Very nice. Now moving on to actual card stuff, we'll start with this binder, which is my personal binder. It has all of my quote collection inside of it. Start with the back, which just has, you know, staple stuff, more staple stuff, bit of glare, but it's fine. More staple stuff, again, just like random staple stuff. I actually got this today in the mail. Very nice stuff. There's also Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff in there, but no one really cares. Then we go to the front, which is just whatever I have. At the top we have some Jesmon Alt Arts, the middle is some Japanese Magic the Gathering cards. My brother was getting rid of them, so I thought I'd take them. Then we have some Magic the Gathering cards based off of Godzilla. Next page, some field centers I've got from Yu-Gi-Oh! Pre-releases. Some Weeaboo stuff. These my brother actually got me as a birthday gift. They are Genshin Impact cards. Or the Genshin Impact characters in the style of Pokemon V cards. Very nice. Raiden, Shogun and Eula. There was also a Hutao one, but my brother decided to keep that because that's one of his favourite characters. More Weeb stuff. We don't care about that. Even more Weeb stuff. Dinosaur King. Who remembers Dinosaur King? And then some random Final Fantasy TCG cards. I actually got this in a pack that came with a VV plush that I bought. How convenient. More Weeb stuff. And then the actual quote collection. We have Weavile, Japanese full art Weavile at the top. Cosmic Eclipse illustration rare, some random Weaviles here. That Lugia is my brother's, he's selling it, so I've just put it in this one. And then some random full arts that I thought looked nice. And then we have the other binder, which is the binder that I use for trades. It has everything inside of it that I'm either selling on Card Market or trading. There is nothing like big in here except for the Skeleredge and the Charizard at the top. Everything else is just like, you know, just like generic staple stuff. Nothing really worth mentioning. But you can have a look if you want. I'll go through each individual page. I have 6 fan Rotoms from pre-release. Again, there is quite a lot of stuff in here, but I am thinking of offloading it to, well, most of it to a vendor, but we'll see what goes on with that. And of course the collection of stamped Holo Energies. And then moving on to toy stuff, I have this little Palkia figure that I got when pre-ordering Shining Pearl. I have this black Kyurem model figure, which is a bit flimsy. Also, various parts of it are stickers, like the eyes are stickers. You have some bits here, you can see these bits have come off. I don't know why it had so many stickers, considering some of them are literally like the same colour as the part. It's got some on the chest there you might be able to see, because they've started peeling away a bit. I have been thinking of just taking off all the stickers except the eyes and like properly gluing the eyes on, but we'll see. We also have this Charmander plush that I got from the, I think it was the Tokyo Metropolitan building in Japan. Funny enough, don't know why he was there. Then we have this substitute plush that I got from Japan as well, from one of the Pokemon centres. And then of course, Weavile's Sitting Cuties that I got from the English Pokemon Centre online. And now games. So I have a Gengar 3DS, 2DS, DS case with my DSi XL in, one of many DSs. I have an English Pokemon Platinum, cart only, no case. But what I do own is quite a few Japanese games. So we have White 2 in Japanese, White in Japanese, Black 2 Japanese, Black Japanese. Gen 5 is my favourite gen in case it's not very obvious. Platinum Japanese, Pearl Japanese, and of course Diamond Japanese. This is probably the most beat up out of them all. This isn't the original case it came in, like the actual case itself. It was incredibly grotty the one it came in, so I just got a replacement one. It does feel like very slightly different because it's like this is a Japanese case and this is an American case, but it does the same thing. Whatever. And the cart on this was very dirty. Surprised it still works. But yeah, that is everything I could find and think of. There were probably a few things that I missed, but they weren't worth talking about. And now I need to put all this stuff back where it originally was. That's going to be fun.